All right, good morning, sir.
Morning, good morning.
All right, sir. So can we meet you, your name and place of residence?
My name is Jacob Ime. I live in Lagos, Yaba to be precise.
Okay, sir. So are you married? And can you tell us a bit about your social environment?
I'm single. Actually, where I live is an urban area which is very crowded. So, security-wise, that area is good as well.
Okay, so how do you feel today? Like, how are you feeling?
I can see I'm feeling very good. I'm feeling very good.
All right, so let's go to the question of the day. So what do you think people have not learned from this pandemic?
I will look at it from two angles.
Okay.
I'm a Nigerian. First of all, I will look at it from our leadership perspective before and I'll move down to our citizen perspective.
Okay.
In the leadership aspect of it, they have felt because like the issue of pandemic that happened was like a lesson for our leaders to understand that there's nothing like home. So whatever you do, you should always pay good attention to your home. You don't get what I'm saying. So they failed to build a good facility here in Nigeria where a good hospital here in Nigeria whereby if issues arises, you can go there for remedy. But even after the pandemic, from what I'm seeing from their body language, it seems they still want to continue in that same route. Now, coming to the citizen, because I will not really blame the citizen much for saying that they have not learned from what happened, because it depends on how the government sells the message to Nigerians. Nigerians feel that most of those things were fake. You understand that way they're using it in order to do some kind of, do things their own way. So people didn't really feel it people didn't really take it as something that was serious. You understand? So that's what I can say about that.
Okay, so what does the everyday life look like in your own country?
Currently now, since after the pandemic, it has gone from bad to worse in Nigeria, security-wise, economic-wise. People are yet to recover. Unemployment rate has skyrocketed. So everyday life in Nigeria now is like a hair. You wake up in the morning, you wake up and you feel healthy and hearty, you just say thank God. So in Nigeria, it has not been rosy at all.
Okay, so what are the socio-political effects of the corona crisis in your country and in your region now and in the future? What do you think will happen also in the future?
Currently now, after the pandemic, there has been, like I said earlier, there has been high rate of unemployment, which is very bad to the country. You get the idea? Yeah. So now, politically, after the pandemic, because we went for a lockdown in Nigeria, I don't know if you read the news, we also on a lockdown. During the lockdown, so many business closes. So by virtue of that, so many people were unable to pay tax. So government could not generate much money. So it affects the country politically, economically. So Nigeria as a whole right now, we are like 10% on the floor. You understand? So there's a lot of work that still needs to be done for the country to go forward. Now, asking me what do I think can be done? What can I predict about the future? Mm-hmm. For me, like Nigeria is not ready. First of all, I've not seen from their body language, I've not seen anything that they have put in place. They just put this thing on papers that they have vaccinated. Like me now, I've not been vaccinated. You understand? I just see this thing on paper. You want to vaccinate, they call amount of money that you cannot afford, which is bad for the citizen. You just come here and then you enforce the rule. You just enact a rule that you don't even enforce. You don't follow up. You say people should wear face masks in the church. People wear face masks when you are using a public bus. You wear face masks. How do you enforce this? Just enact it without following up. So to me, I think Nigeria has not learned any lesson. So we are still, if presuming this thing happens again in the future, we are still going to find ourselves in a mess that is bigger than what we experienced before.
Okay, so which step is your own country taking to get out of this current situation?
Currently, to me, everything is just on paper. It's just on paper. They say we give some, like I said, they enact some rules that they don't. To me, that is not substantial. So to me, I don't think there's nothing. Nigeria is not. They are not. Nigeria, in fact, Nigeria is not ready.
Okay, so how are you and your family? How are you doing currently?
This
situation.
When you find yourself in a situation like this, what do you have to say? We all hope on God. We all rely on God. We all pray on God. We wake up every morning, we pray God sustain us. God see us through. That's how we are living here now.
So is there anything you're worried about?
Nigeria, I worry about so many things, but let me just look at 2 or 3 of things I worry. One of them is our leaders, because what they are doing right now, look at a country as Nigeria like this. We cannot really point out to one sophisticated, hospitals in Nigeria that we can, if in pandemic like this, occur where people can go to for remedy. So it's a cause of concern. You understand? Economic wise, after the pandemic issue, we had a protest in the country which led to so many destruction. So that alone cripples the country economy. So there's so many things to worry. Security wise, after that one, so many security buildings were burnt down. We set ablaze. You understand? And we are yet to recover from that. So having said that, so there's a lot of things to worry about Nigeria, but let me just touch on that three. That three should be okay.
Okay, so now lastly, sir, what opportunities do you see from this global crisis in terms of global sustainable development?
To me, it was during the pandemic that I discovered the strength, the power of social media. I don't know what I'm saying, because so many things, some people have to work from home. And when you're working from home, what do? It is social media that link everybody. So it was during the pandemic that I discovered the power, the strength of social media. So the opportunity I see is that so many things I would do now, I need to put more energy using social media.
So how do you see social media helping in the development of Nigeria?
First of all, it helps. For instance, in Nigeria, before the protest happened, all these things happens through the NSAS protest happened in Nigeria. It was through social media that people were able to convene, you understand, and strategize. Everything was done through social media, you understand. So I cannot underestimate the power of social media.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.